Hi, I'm Mark,
And I'm Rob.
and welcome to Mark and Rob's Sports Showdown. I hope that if you haven't subscribed yet, that you do right now, and hit that notification bell, and so you get all the videos coming up. And
So,
please
Mark,
make a comment if you like it, and give us some likes if you like it. Go ahead, Rob. What do you want to say?
I'm sorry to interrupt. So, Mark, what do you think about Caitlin Clark's first WNBA debut?
Well, obviously she struggled because she had 10 turnovers. I'll give her a C. She shot okay. She was 36% from threes, but 33% overall. It's obvious she's not used to her new teammates or the new offense. And I think everybody just has to chill because I don't think you can draw a conclusion from one game when there's 40 games to go and they barely had any practices in two preseason games.
I agree with you. I give her a C too. I didn't watch the whole game like you, but in the beginning, she's a little slow. But I think she, just like her coach says, there's things she really has to work on. And the good thing about it, she knows she has to work on it. I mean, with the turnovers, she's not good at the double teams that she was getting in college. Is a little different from in WNBA because the player's a little more athletic and a little taller for her. So she's got to work on that. But yeah, it's the first game of the season, so she's got a lot of leeway to still got more games to work on.
Well, that's true, but part of it was her teammates weren't reacting quick enough to the traps and the double teams and circling around to help her out.
That's true. I was just saying the one where she bounced because she did the right thing because they had their hands up and she bounced past it and her teammate was just standing there, and that used to drive me nuts as a coach. It was like even when I was playing, my coach would be like, "Come to the ball, come to the ball." I mean, you would figure if your person's trapping, you should like, okay, I should come to the ball because my person who's guarding me is trapping her. So come to the ball.
Yeah, I don't want to make excuses for her, but because she had 10 turnovers, there's no way she's not to blame for that particular aspect of the game. But not all the turnovers were her fault. But she did force it, and she didn't react quick enough to certain things, and she wasn't used to the taller, more athletic people guarding her to get out of the traps or to get out of the double teams that happened. I mean, they were double teaming her, and one of the reasons they could double team her is because their leading scorer last year and their best 3-point shooter, who shot 40% from threes the last 2 years, Mitchell, wasn't just played a few minutes in the game because she's coming off a sore ankle.
Mm-hmm.
So that would change as she becomes healthier and gets back in the starting lineup, which is what I think is going to happen. But I want to just say that in general, the haters and lovers both have to chill on this.
Yeah.
Because
Yes.
Rob, you remember the show Kung Fu from the 1970s?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh yes.
My favorite show of all time, maybe besides 24. And if you don't know anything about the show, is about a Shaolin priest,
Mm-hmm.
David Carradine, who had these little sayings and taught life's lessons to people. And one of the lessons, this little kid drew a conclusion where David Carradine's character didn't come in to the defense of somebody because it just didn't warrant in that particular situation. So he thought, well, this guy's never going to defend him or do anything in terms of violence or anything like that, or any fighting or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then David Carradine looked at the little 10-year-old kid and said, from one action, you drew an entire universe. And
Right.
this is one game. So it's 1 out of 40 games. And that's what we have to look at. And like I said, I'm not making excuses for her. She could have played better. But the haters are saying, well, see, she can't play at the next level, which is
Right.
there's zero chance she can't play at this level. She may
Right.
not be the greatest player of all time like I think she's going to be,
Mm-hmm.
but there's zero chance she's going to be a bust. So you can say whatever you want after one game, but you're going to have mud on your face by the end of it 2 or 3 years from now, because there's zero chance he's going to be a bust unless she's
Right. I agree. I agree. I mean, you can just see them like, see, look at that, 10 turnovers, 20 shot. Oh, Miss Superstar. What happened to her?
She's never played with those players before. She's not used to the offense. Like I said, she's missing the point guard. She's got a new coach who I'm not sure who has not figured out how to use her properly. But I'm not blaming the coach. They had a short preseason.
Mark, I was going to make that point, Mark. I mean, like the coach was saying how she was like, you probably saw it when she passed the ball. She was just standing there at the 3-point line, like she said, dancing, just standing there. She's going to have her move more with a motion offense. When she passes the ball, have her cut through the basket. I mean, you could guard her if she's just going to pass the ball and stand out there in the 3-point line. So she needs a more of a motion offense as coach to get her get her open, set some screens. Like you said, at one point in the game, she wasn't bringing the ball up, so you start her off on a low block, have someone screen down on her, and then she could pop for a shot. I mean, it's pretty simple, but I mean, I don't see that in the offense. I was kind of noticing that.
Well, she also said she has to get used to taking long 2-pointers. I'm not sure I agree with that at all. But I think she needs to learn her mid game and to learn when she drives to the basket to do something besides pass and drive to the basket, which she has another option, obviously, kind of like two options in one, where she can actually do a finger roll, a teardrop throw, or just a little short 8-10 foot jumper. But the analytics say long twos are not good, especially how good is she at hitting threes. But be that as may, I think that people have to just be patient with this for a few games.
Yeah.
One game it could have happened in game 30 where she had a bad game and they go, oh, see, she can't play. But this is the first game, and they were playing against the number 3 team in the league last year, who also had one of the best defensive, and the player who was guarding her, Carrington, was a very good defender. And when she got injured, I don't know if it was a cramp or something like that. The runner-up of the MVP was covering her, who is 6'2", Thomas.
Yeah.
Alyssa Thomas, who had a great game. I'd never seen play before.
She's really good.
She's one of the top 3 players in the league, along with Brianna Stewart and AJ Wilson. And she proved that yesterday with her triple-double. And she seemed to have a very good demeanor to her on the court. She's smiling and everything. Of course, they were winning. And when Caitlin Clark drove to the basket, she didn't try to hurt her. None of the players. I was happy to see that even Connecticut plays tough defense in its physical defense. No one tried to hurt Caitlin Clark.
Right.
And there was no dirty plays whatsoever. I'm concerned. I'm not saying that's going to happen every game because I'm concerned it's going to happen, but it didn't happen in this. And of course, Thomas had never said anything bad about Caitlin Clark. So
like you said, pointing out the mid-range game, there was one point where I saw her. She had the person and she drove to the basket, and then she just stopped and then she wanted to pass it. She should have done drove to the basket, did a pull-up jump shot, and she would have had the shot. That's one, like I said, that's one of the things she really has. And then she was really just forcing it in. I mean, the Boston was posting up and she had the ball, and she's like, "Okay, I'm going to throw the ball into the post now." Here, you get, of course, the guard, you're like, "Geez, I wonder what she's going to do with the ball." Of course, that's why.
That's a pretty good impersonation of a person about to throw a pass.
Yeah, especially like that, to get intercepted.
So the haters can say anything they want in the comments down below, but it's one game. At least give it 20 games before you make any conclusion, or even the whole season. And I want to get to the Clark lovers, which I am one of them, but I'm a realistic, objective one, because the Clark lovers are saying to fire the coach. One, because she doesn't know anything about basketball. She doesn't know how to coach. She doesn't know how to handle Clark, or she doesn't know how to run an offense. And they were saying this when she made some comments in the press conference about criticizing Clark. They were saying fire the coach. That's so ridiculous. At the end of the year, if this team doesn't make the playoffs, because all they need is 5 or 6 more wins from last year, fine, fire the coach. But to fire the coach before the end of this season is ridiculous. She's going to take a while to figure out Caitlin Clark. She's a unique individual, and she's got a new player, and she got a young team. So stop it with the ridiculous fire the coach.
She's the one. I mean, these players have already played together for at least 2 or 3 years already. So she's the newcomer. So she's got to incorporate how they are, how they play, and also they have to get used to how she plays. So it's going to take a while. Yeah,
I saw the press conference afterwards, and she answered the question. I think her name is Sides, right? She answered the questions very thoroughly, and she obviously knows basketball, and she obviously knows coaching. So stop it. That's ridiculous. You're delusional Clark lovers. Just be objectionable here. Oh my God! It drives me crazy when they're saying something a 10-year-old would say, and then I don't know what to say, and they don't understand, and then they get all upset about the calls. Now let's say the first call was a phantom call. Where the MVP runner-up was driving, Clark stuck her hand out, and it looked like she touched the top of the ball for half a second and got out of the way, and somehow that was magically a call. It was the most ridiculous call.
Yeah, I did see that. I mean, like I said, I saw it when I was like, wow, I said the first two fouls I think were. I'm like, okay, geez, the referees are against her too. Come on now.
I mean, the first call was ridiculous, and
Yeah.
it was against an MVP runner-up, so maybe they gave the MVP run. But that person, as soon as she saw Clark's hand go up, that ref had that whistle already blowing even before the play even developed. It was ridiculous foul call. So I understand the objection, but then the Clark lovers were saying both foul calls were bogus, and the second call wasn't bogus. It could have been called and it could not have been called. Mm-hmm. This is the way I saw that particular foul call. It was a loose ball foul where the player in the other team had position over Clark. Clark hustled for a loose ball rebound, and she bumped the other person as she was going for the ball. That's a foul. Well, it wasn't a big foul, but it's still a foul because the other person had position, and she went into her as she was touching the ball. Okay, I had no problem with that call. And that's not always called, but I had no problem with that call. Her third foul was like really confusing because there was like going through a screen and around, and there was like three different parts to the play. And it didn't look like a foul. It looked like she got fouled more than got fouled. They called the foul on that. Yeah. And the fourth one was a foul. So only 2 out of the 4 I thought weren't foul calls. But that she's not used to getting bad foul calls when she was in college because she was the star. But still, there's no excuse for bad foul calls. I'm not asking the benefit of the call like he's Michael Jordan driving the basket.
And I did see her give a little demeanor thing with the ball, like almost like I'm surprised she like either I don't know if she like tossed the ball or kicked the ball. She was disgusting.
I think that was in the second one, even though that was because I think she was just frustrated that she got 2 quick fouls.
Yeah,
the first one was a stupid call. That's the one.
So she kind of wavered there, But but like I said, in general, she, even though she didn't score, I mean, I thought she handled the press conference and the game, and she's realistic too. She's like, I'm not going to come in here and drop 30, 40 points like I did in college. Of course, I'm going to be double team and have one of the best players guard me. So she's realistic too.
I'm going to put Victor W. aside for a second because I think there was a lot of pressure and a lot of hype on him. But this is the most pressure and hype, putting him aside. You can argue about that since LeBron James for any athlete, probably. It really is. The most popular athlete in the country, not just the most popular female basketball player, not just the most popular basketball player in the country, the most popular athlete in the country, the first female in the history of American sports, having her debut with a lot of pressure, a lot of divisive haters and lovers. There was more pressure on than anything. So I can understand her having nerves. She said she didn't get nervous, but she was nervous.
She was nervous, yeah.
But she's also hesitant because she's not used to the offense. So I'm not making any excuses for 10 turnovers or 10 turnovers. Yeah, and she shot okay from 3-point range. It was 36%, 4 for 11. But overall, she was 5 for 15. She was only 33%. Maybe she got fouled once when she drove to the basket and didn't get a call. Whatever. She just has to play better, and she will. I'm not worried about it.
That's why I like what the announcers said. They were like saying, geez, this is the longest she's probably ever sat in her career.
Yeah, and I didn't know the WNBA you get 6 fouls. I'll be honest with that.
Yeah, I told you that.
40 minutes. I thought all 40-minute games you get 5 fouls.
No, it's 6.
International basketball you only get 5.
Right.
So NBA I know it's 6. College is 5. International is 5. High school it's 5. So I don't know. So I was, but. I don't know if you have to sit anybody after 2 and you get 6. That's another extra foul.
She was. Plus, she wasn't playing that well. She was a little nervous, so that was a good move of there.
Oh no, I would have said her 2, but I'm just saying it's different. It's a big difference in a 40-minute game when you get 6 fouls than in 3.
Yeah, but when the referee calls those 2 quick fouls like that, it's kind of like you're like, okay, I see what's going on here. And then, like you said, like I saw it after the second one, she looked kind of frustrated. So I'd be like, okay, let me take her out and settle her down a little.
But I don't know if the refs are against her. I'm just saying there are 2 calls that I didn't think were foul calls.
The first one was horrible. Horrible. I was like, wow. There goes my clipboard.
And to be fair, Carrington played really good defense against her, but she was a little bit physical. There's times that you could have called fouls on her that they didn't.
No, she did fine. She played a nice defensive game on her.
Carrington, I was impressed. I had no idea who she was before the game started. Like I said, I don't watch a lot of WNBA.
Well, see, that's the whole thing, Mark, also, that they're not talking about people were there to see Caitlin Clark, but you knew nothing about Thomas, who was a runner-up in MVP last year. No one knew about her.
I've never seen her play, right, because she was never on the Olympic team. She hadn't made the Olympic team before.
Right, and then these other players. So these other players that you've never known about are now getting exposure because they're playing against Clark, and now they can show their stuff, which is kind of cool. It's like, okay, Thomas is like, oh, yeah, really? Let me show my stuff. And that's what she did. So I think that, I mean, it's a plus for them to keep hitting on Caitlin Clark. She's building up all the players.
She's giving a lot of publicity to a league, which is going to get a lot of eyes on these players that are complaining they don't get any publicity, and
Right.
they're also going to make more money. And I don't think they have to go up to Caitlin Clark before the game and shake your hand and say, thank you for bringing publicity to the league and thank you for money. Just be appreciative of the fact that it happened. Just like the NBA players, anybody who's played since 1985, 1990 should be appreciative of the fact that Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, and Michael Jordan all made them a lot of money because of the publicity they brought to the league, and the popularity soared because of those three players. They should all appreciate that. Like I said,
right, at that point, the NBA was down until they came to the league. They were down with attendance.
And tape delay.
They just got over a strike, so it's like, yeah, they were down.
It was more popular in the 70s.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
So that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that give it all to Caitlin Clark. You can give it a little bit to Angel Reese, but it's mainly Caitlin Clark. Let's be honest about it. And we'll see the difference in popularity when we get the ratings in a couple of days between the two of them, because she plays tonight, Angel Reese. And I'm sure she'll play fine. She's tall, so her game's going to translate, even though she has no game outside of 8 feet from the basket. I will say that. But we'll see how Angel Reese does. In fact, we should talk about that, is because she didn't get any better from her I don't know if it was really her senior year, juniors or senior. And she went from first team All-American to second team All-American. Her numbers actually went down. But she never developed a jump shot, and she has terrible form on her shot. She shoots from the side. But she's a very good offensive rebounder, and she can score underneath the basket well. And she's a good rebounder in general and a good defender. So now she's going to have a good career.
I'm sorry. So now, are you cheering for Angel Reese to have a good game tonight, or as you are focusing
I don't care. I'm neutral on it. I try to be objective about it. I don't like her personality. I think she plays the victim. I don't like what she did after she won the championship to Clark. I thought it was very poor sportsmanlike, and it was way over the top for me. I had no problem with a little bit of it, but she did it twice, and then she stalked her, and she's never apologized for it, and she never thought what she did was wrong, and then she blamed everybody else when she got some hate, and then when she lost, she didn't give any credit to Caitlin Clark for winning. She just said, "I'm the victim. I've been a victim for a year."
What's really weird is that I just saw when I was I don't know if it was during the game or some kind of advertising, they were talking about the WNBA, and then they actually showed that incident with her with the ring thing and in the face. I'm going, what are you doing? I mean, you're not helping her. You're saying that's right. You're encouraging, like, okay, that's okay to do. You're not really helping her image, whatever that was. I forgot where I saw it. It was a commercial.
Right. Well, the difference between me and haters of Clark, I'm not rooting for Angel Reese to not play well. I just don't personally care for it at this point. She may convince me otherwise as she matures and her personality changes and stuff like that. Right now, I don't like her personality. I think she's going to be a very good player. I don't think there's any doubt that she won't succeed either. So let's make that 100% clear. But the difference is I don't root against her. Like, there is Angel Reese fans that root against Caitlin Clark. That's silly. They're just why root against anybody? I mean, unless the person's a serial killer. And I'm not saying I have the perfect objective viewpoint on Caitlin Clark, because I'm a big Caitlin Clark fan. But I'm trying. And I'm criticizing the lovers as well as the haters. And same thing, don't root against Angel Reese just because you don't like her because she did something against Caitlin Clark and you're a big Clark fan. Yeah, it was classless. It was. But the bottom line is that's 2 years ago. Right. She's in WNBA now. I'd like to see women's sports succeed, especially WNBA, because for 27 years people just been put crap on them all the time and stuff like that.
So in general, you're like me. You're excited. Yes, Caitlin Clark is causing excitement, but you're like me. Okay, cool. Now people are going to notice and actually watch women's basketball and see other players besides Caitlin Clark, because they've never known, and see, wow, this is not just her is good. This Thomas person is good. AJ Wilson, she came out last night. She was, and even your friend Diana, she had a nice game last night too. So
who had a nice game?
Your friend Diana Taurasi, she had a nice game.
Oh, I didn't see what she did. I didn't look at this. I didn't look at the score.
She scored 23 points.
Did she?
Yeah.
We're friends now, me and Diana.
Well, I thought she called you yesterday. Did she
She
text you?
texts me all the time. I just ignore it. I go, we'll talk after June 30th, Diana.
I gave you a number.
54 on you with 10 threes and sets 2 records.
I gave you a number, and I don't know why you know. So
if you don't know what we're talking about, I'm not a fan of Diana Taurasi. I think she's overrated, both the college and the pro level, and I think she's a bully, and she's jealous of Caitlin Clark. But we'll see. She did say some positive things about Caitlin Clark that I saw in the excerpt. So be that as may, you know, she's a great player, both the college and the pros. I don't want to, you know, be delusional about that. I just don't think she's the greatest player of all time at either level. I can name several players I would take over her. So anyways, I don't think you should root against anyone. I think you should just root for the WNBA to be successful. If you don't like women's basketball, which I'm still not really a fan of, I just really love watching Caitlin Clark play, then don't watch. Why go? Like, there's videos. I watch things to hear people's opinions and get ideas to talk about and stuff. And I watch videos, and I read comments, and the people are there reading articles or watching videos about the WNBA. And then I'm sure it's almost always a guy. And then they like completely put, you know, crap on the WNBA. It's like, then why even watching the video, reading the article, just because you're such a small person, you have to crap on that. It just grow up, please. Haters and lovers, just grow up. Everybody just kind of try to be objective about it and as neutral as you can, and just enjoy. If it's not exciting basketball to you, which I admit it's not as exciting as men's basketball, it's never going to be. Mm-hmm. There's just no way they're ever going to jump as high or be as quick or as strong or as fast, you know, as them. It's just not going to happen.
Just calm the hell down. That's
just don't watch. Don't watch. If you think Caitlin Clark is overrated and gets too much publicity and sucks, just don't watch. I don't care. It, you know, they make comments like, "Oh, she can't make it at the next level," or blah blah blah. You know, whatever. Angel Reese is better.
They'll make comments about this game, and they didn't even watch. And the first thing you ask them is like, "Did you watch the game?" Well, no, but I saw this. Did you watch the game? No,
just ask them if they watch women's basketball, and they'll say, "You know, I haven't watched very much. I'll be honest with you know. Mm-hmm. I do watch some. I watch some college, and I've always watched it because I got interested with the Connecticut Tennessee thing, and I watch every Olympic game, so I get to see the best players play at least 6 games. Mm-hmm. But I've seen them all play, and I've seen some of the international other games besides the Olympics. I watched that. By the way, Aaliyah Boston didn't have a great game either. You know, and she had like 4 turnovers and she only had 4 points. She did have 6 rebounds, and she did have 2 steals and a block, but she was 2 for 6. And I don't think Caitlin Clark is used to Hannah Stokely, who ran track in high school, who played at Iowa. And she's used to someone fast, like breaking down the court. Aaliyah Boston's not fast. She's bigger. She's not heavy. Don't get me wrong. But Melissa Smith is faster, and she can get down the court quicker. And maybe that's a better person to throw to on the fast break. But I didn't think Aaliyah Boston played that great. But she was a great leader, because you can see him going at the halftime. And Caitlin Clark's looking dejected because she didn't play a good first half at all. Mm. And she's got her arm around her, and she's talking, "Don't worry, you can do it, blah, blah, blah." And Caitlin's saying, "No, you can do it." And it was great. It was great. She's only a second-year player.
Did you see also what the teams did for Caitlin Clark?
Now, what did they do? So
she couldn't go to her graduation because of the game. So they held like a graduation ceremony for her, like to walk down the tunnel, and they applauded for her when she got a diploma. I thought that was really awesome. I'm like, wow.
Well, all I can say is she's played on a couple international teams. She played in a high school team, and she played on a college team, and now she's played in the WNBA team. And so far, I've never heard one negative thing from one of her teammates. They all love her. Mm-hmm. That's something. They all love playing with her. They all love her. You know, of course, you like playing with a great player, but they like her personality. And and she's not perfect, but she has a good personality, and she seems very mature and classy.
Yeah.
So that's my opinion on Caitlin Clark. That's my opinion on her debut. They have 7 games in 12 days, so they're not going to have a lot of time to fix this. Mm-hmm. But they do. Hopefully Mitchell's ankle gets better every game, and we'll watch film. And they play at home next time. Maybe Caitlin Clark will get the benefit of the calls from the refs this time, because she
just like the Pacers did. So
She didn't last the Pacers. Yeah, the Knicks never get the benefit of the calls.
Nope.
Not at all. No,
even last night.
That never happens in Madison Square Garden.
Even last night, they didn't get
Game 2 against the Sixers. Game 1 against Indiana. No, that never happens.
Even last night.
We'll talk about
that later. We'll talk about that later.
This is the end of our video. I don't want to talk too long about Caitlin Clark, but we'll talk about it on Friday again after a game on Thursday.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, meanwhile, please like and subscribe and make comments and let us know what you think. If you're a hater or lover, make some comments. Just don't be insulting and say something intelligent. Okay. And we'll make another video having to do with Rob's Knicks, who won big in Indiana. And we're also talking about Jokic looking like he's the best player of all time for at least a quarter.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's will be our second video, and that'll be up today also. And thanks for listening, and take care. See you later.
Peace out.